Meeting order, May 22nd, 2023. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this meeting has been duly advertised in the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel. The municipal clerk of the township has been duly notified and the requirements of posting of notices have been met. If you would please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Church, we call roll call.
Bellis? Present. Caselli? Here. Tranglini? Here. Kowalski? Cunningham? Here. Doyle? Cardozo? Here. Michael? Here. Trace? Grant?
Here.
We have four.
The first item on our agenda this evening is our communications committee update from Mr. Peters.
Mr. Brandt and members of the Board of Education. Good evening. Thank you. Is it on? I would like I am Chair of the Township Communication. I would like to recognize the Communication Committee for their valuable insight into this presentation. Our committee is composed of various members of the school and public sectors, including administrators, teachers, support staff, parents, and community members.
Thank you, Mr. Moyers. Good evening. Before we go into what we have been able to conclude and research over the course of the spring and winter months, I just wanted to go back to what we completed in the fall. Back in the fall, we did complete a communication survey, taking a look at two specific surveys, one for both parents and the community, and then also another one focusing with faculty and staff. And just some highlights of these communication surveys. All or above 80% respondents here really liked what has been occurring, especially with how we've been sending out electronic communications over the past several years. And also the respondents indicated that they really liked getting emails, the school messenger service, and also an application-based service in order to receive regular communication from our schools. As far as frequency, there was also very positive respondent information as far as the frequency, which in particular was at least at the quarterly level at the district, and also the weekly level coming from both the school and the classroom. As far as faculty and staff, they also really enjoy the electronic methods of communication, emails, apps, phone calls, all work well, both with how they receive information. They also really like utilizing those services in order to get the information out to the parents and community as well. As far as some things looking forward there from our fall survey, they did wish to see some improvement at with communication between the district and school-based academic teams. So moving forward, now over the course of the winter months and now the spring. The second step of our committee's action, we researched the different types of communication devices and frequencies of communication within neighboring school districts. Our committee also analyzed the current communication methods within our school district, really what we use, and compared them to the information that we gathered from these neighboring school districts, both to determine if they are doing something that's a little bit more effective than us. We also wanted to compare the frequency of their communication, the types of communication, in order to really initiate an action plan to see if we need to improve any of our methods.
The survey was conducted by members of the Communication Committee to review the communication methods that their districts utilize with parents, the community, and within the district faculty and staff. A variable within obtaining this information was the source that the information was obtained, as it did vary between individuals that held faculty, staff, and administrative positions. Overall, we were able to gain valuable information about both the methods of communication that were used in these other districts and the frequency of their communication methods. As noted, we intentionally obtained from all the districts that border our township, along with other nearby school districts.
So this slide is really a summary of some of the most important information that we were able to gather from that survey. And most of the districts discussed how they're utilizing social media to extend to their audience beyond those who receive just the automated phone calls, which would traditionally be your parents, faculty, and staff, in order to make sure that other people within the greater school community know about the wonderful things that we are doing, or that they are doing. Specific feedback included the use of external messaging services, such as ClassDojo, Remind, which are primarily used to communicate classroom and school-based announcements. School districts also cite the positive use of different newsletter and electronic messaging platforms for their ease of use, and also the methods of communication with parents and the community. It was quite comforting to see how many similarities with the different communication methods that these other neighboring school districts are using with the current methods that we're using. I was smiling when I saw how many times SMORE was listed. SMORE is something that we utilize for many of our newsletters that we have here within our district. How many times that ClassDojo, Remind were cited. Those are two different application services that many of our faculty members use when communicating with families. So there's really more of a reassurance of a lot of the communication methods that we're doing that these other neighboring districts are utilizing as well.
We would like to show the transparency of communication methods within our district as compared to other nearby districts. As you can see on the chart, our district utilizes a municipal organized cable station and YouTube channel. The cable station is available on Comcast and Verizon. We lucked out there. Along with multiple social media outlets. Altogether, there are more methods of community communication than many of the other districts surveyed.
So once again, looking at that fall survey and knowing that parents overwhelmingly responded quite favorably about our current communication methods, we wanted to really see, well, what are we doing real well? What are we going to continue to enhance? And also, what level of continuity do we have here within our district? That if, let's say, one grade level or one span of grade levels is doing something really well, what can we use that they're doing well in order to kind of grab hold of it and use it throughout the course of the district? So we are going to continue with our current communication practices. And when I say that, we're specifically mentioning the utilization of electronic means to communicate with families. This would include the distribution of a weekly message at the school level, and also regular communication from the classroom teachers. Based on the survey of other districts, we will be endeavoring to update our practices for the upcoming school year by increasing the frequency and methods of communication at that classroom level, specifically with utilizing ClassDojo across the district. All schools will be creating a monthly calendar, and finally, through the regular communication to families and the community through our district office on at least a quarterly basis. Dojo, we felt, was going to be a monumental change. We know how well it is used and really well received at Jamir School. That was really, it was very explicit when looking at our survey. The results were quite overwhelming with that. And just with the general ease of use and being able to get really what we perceive our message, what we want our message to look like, we're going to be using that pre-K through 6.
The district will strive to increase their frequency of events on the municipal channel, television, and YouTube. On the television, it is Channel 9 on Comcast and Channel 30 on Verizon. The Verizon one goes outside the township limits, where the Comcast is strictly township-based. This will exceed well beyond just televising Board of Education meetings, but to also include the sharing of positive events occurring within our schools, such as music concerts and other school-oriented events. The district will also continue to push out positive information via social media platforms, specifically on Facebook and Twitter.
So we did not want to forget about the other half of our communications analysis here, and that would be the communication with faculty and staff. Some continuation practices here, especially at the school level. Not only do we push out weekly communication to all parents and community, we also put out a weekly message to all of our faculty and staff members as well. So that will be coming from the school level. We're going to be continuing to deliver information via electronic methods, which was a preferable method from the faculty and staff. Taking a look at how we're going to communicate with others, especially those who do not speak English as their native language. Just as we have within our school, we have also purchased some time kettle translated earbuds over at the district office, which are used during the registration process. So this way we can communicate with families who do not speak English when they're trying to register their children. And once they do register, we want to make sure that there's adequate accessibility of all of our communications to families that do not speak English as their primary language. So it's really a continuation to make sure that we have translation opportunities both on our website, SMORE with our newsletter, and also other publications that we're sending out, whether it be the use of Google Translate to just easily translate a PDF document, such as like a permission slip. We're really using the technology that's out there that we're currently utilizing in order to make sure that those notices and notifications either go home in a native language or are accessible for that family in their native language. Some updated practices. We are continuously going to be looking at how we can promote and enhance communication from the district to the school, to the grade level team, to the individual faculty and staff member. And that's what I'm really referencing there by saying to the communication between the DLC, the SLC, and the DLC levels. And ongoing professional learning. Now, I mentioned Class Dojo is one communication platform, but other communication platforms that we might be able to identify, whether it be this summer or over the course of the next school year, that might be proven to be effective, we recognize that we definitely need to provide professional learning opportunities if we're trying to implement something new. And that leads us with our next steps for the Communication Action Committee. As I just mentioned, we definitely recognize that we need to provide further professional learning on Class Dojo. We want to continue our relationship that we have with the Township's Communication Commission. It truly has been a very nice asset for us to have Mr. Morris as part of our committee. We've had many conversations at our committee about how we can enhance our message, our branding, to the community. We want them to know the wonderful things that are occurring in all three of our schools. And that will only strengthen the message of our district if we do so. We're also going to continue to determine the methods of enhancing consistent communication. So that's consistency from school to school, consistency from classroom to classroom, about the types of instructional content, as well as how well the students are understanding that information. And also, once again, continuing to foster the improved lines of communication between the district and individual faculty and staff members. Once again, on behalf of Mr. Morris, our entire communications committee, we'd like to thank you for inviting us up to give this update and presentation tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Morris, and the rest of the committee for your dedication. Are there any board member questions?
I have a question.
Mr. Beard?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we'll get an update in regards to what these steps are going to look like implementation-wise for next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is the update for right now. This is a work in progress. So working with our professional learning extensions, we're going to constantly be moving on communication.
Okay, thank you.
And it's not just implementing the new elements, it's also analyzing to make sure that what was effective this past fall is continuously still effective. We want to make sure that we still have at least 80%, we go more than 80%, but that was a pretty nice target for us, so we want to make sure we continue with that.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause especially with the communication within the district itself. How that's, I mean, I know that's the idea to improve, but just getting an idea of what steps we're taking and how those are working.
And that's something that Mrs. Graff and I were both on our DLC. That's something that we've brought up actually the past couple of DLC meetings. I know speaking with Mrs. Golden, Mr. Lawton, that's something that's almost going to be a consistent agenda item to analyze both how it's been working and also what else can we do to improve it.
So I'm assuming that response from staff to improve communication between district and academic teams, that's related to that.
It's once again, it's that DLC, SLC, PLC relationship. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond.
Next item on our agenda this evening is the recognition of Mr. Juan DeVilla. I'm sure you'll recognize that name. I think this has become an annual tradition for Mr. DeVilla to come in, and we're recognizing him this evening for a donation, generous donation he's making to Marietta Jambier. Mr. Tibbet, a couple of comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brand. We're here this evening recognizing the generosity of Mr. DeVilla. He is a local professional boxer, and he is donating $300 to the special education department here at Mary F. Jambier Elementary School. So with that said, Mr. DeVilla, would you please come forward? I have a certificate of appreciation here. Thank you very much. And to be clear, I'm going to give you the microphone in just a moment after we take a nice picture with Mr. Walton. It's our understanding that, through your winnings, through your professional boxing, also the sale of autism awareness shirts as well. And I know that you want to speak a little bit to that. Yes. So, very good. We'll smile for Mr. Walton. Thank you. And the microphone is yours. Thank you again.
Oops, not here. Hello, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank God for allowing me and my family. We're blessed enough to be doing things like this. It means a lot to us, and I take a lot of pride in this. It's a very humbling experience, and this is something that we're going to continue to do every year, or at least try to do. And give back, because we know, that's important. And I also have a little brother that's autism, Maximino Davila. And, things like this keep me going every day in the gym, keeps me working hard, and keeps me motivated. And thank you guys for having me. And thank you guys for setting this up. And I appreciate that. And thank you.
Move on to our first public comment section for agenda motion, move an executive at 6:21, and we'll be back shortly. Do I have a second? All in favor? I make a motion to come out of executive at 7 and 9. Do I have a second? All in favor? Those abstentions. All right, school board president report. Don't have anything specific to report. However, I would like to just fill you in on a trip that Troy and I took recently to GCIT. They had the annual luncheon that they put on every year honoring the Teachers of the Year, and that was really a great event. We had two of our teachers attend. The third one, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it, but as they do every year, they put on a great event honoring the teachers, they provide lunch, and it was definitely it's an honor as board president to be able to attend that. And I just want to congratulate the Teachers of the Year again. Do you have anything to add to that, Troy? Yeah. Leah, do you have anything for NJSBA?
Tomorrow night is the Gloucester County. Tomorrow night is the Gloucester County hybrid meeting where they are going to be recognizing the County Teacher of the Year, which, as we all know, is our Dulcie Lisa Dolby. And I think Barb is going to that. June 7th is the online virtual governance classes, and the next new board member orientation is not until September 16th.
Is there any liaison reports? Go ahead.
I went to 2 class trips with Ritter, 5th grade. Fun, it was interesting. The new buses are very nice. And then 6th grade class trip, we went to DC, and it was a good time.
The 5th grade trip was to the bird?
To the wetlands.
Wetlands. The DC trip, the school buses? Charter buses?
Charter buses, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I am a part of Operation Safe Haven here in town, in Franklinville, and the founder was invited by our teacher at Ritter School, Michelle Bressler, to attend and do a presentation on the veterans homes that are over there on the property. And so I'm the nurse with the veterans, so I'm attending also, and that's June 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, I wanted everyone to know that I'm going to be participating in that.
Which school?
Ritter.
Ritter, okay, thank you.
I attended the concert for Ritter, and it was great. They have an incredible band and an incredible choir. They really outdid themselves.
Anyone else? All right, moving on, we have our minutes. 419 and 424. If everyone's had an opportunity to review them, make a motion to approve the minutes as listed. Do I have a second? Any changes or comments? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Human resources.
When we review the HR agenda in the back, Mrs. Cunningham is going to review our policies. Of course, we had a policy committee last week.
Yes, so we had a policy committee on 5/15, myself, the policy is already implemented and already in place in the district. But just as a side note, I did ask Mr. Walton to take a look at some of the supply lists that we have, classes we have in our schools. We have some basic items that are being requested of parents, like pencils, crayons, so those things that I feel, according to the policy, we should be supplying. Parents shouldn't have to be sending in, so he was going to check in with the admins on that. And then moving on to policy 3217 and 4217 in regards to verbal punishment. Basically, it just provides the policy to align with the statute and addresses the appropriate staff members in situations where they are dealing with a student that may be disruptive or unruly. Policy 5305 is for health services personnel, and it just outlines the roles and responsibilities of a school physician, certified nurse, non-instructional, certified nurse, and so on. Basically, again, just a lot of language. Policy and Reg 5308 is for student health records. And again, there's minor revisions to the language, but also with the idea that we have to keep health records separate from student records and information on students in that way. Policy 5310 and Reg 5310 are also revised, and their revisions are very minimal as well, and includes most updates in the terminology and the way that the code, the provisions in the code were aligned. There are three policies and one reg that kind of are placed together that Trish had to look for us. Reimbursement of federal and other grant expenditures, federal awards and funds for internal controls, federal funds and duplication of benefits, and contracts for goods and services funded by federal grants. Two of those four are new, and as I mentioned, Trish did look over them. A lot of what's in these policies we're already doing and are part of code. Some of them have to do with not using the duplication of benefits in terms of when we're auditing, when we're going out and duplicating what we've done. When we are looking at vendors, we have to be aware that none of the vendors that we're looking at have been disbarred or deemed ineligible by the state. And again, a lot of those things we're already in place and are done by Trish. So she kind of reviewed a lot of that for us and found the wording to be what we could use and should use for the district. And the last one is policy 7440, which is school district security. And basically, this policy is kind of just catching up to what we already do. It mandates that local police authorities have blueprints to school facilities, so in the event that there is some type of emergency, they're able to readily locate or go to where they need to be. And that's pretty much the outline of the policies that you have there.
Any questions? Thank you, Michelle, for the explanation. I would like to recognize under G4, we do have one retirement. Mrs. Annette Wire, 12 years of service with the township board, 21 years of federal service. I just want to recognize her for her service. Any other questions or comments? I make a motion to approve human resources items G1 through G13 is recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? Call roll, please.
Caselli?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Marisol?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Education, then?
That's education items 1, 2 are
D1 for H6 is recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? First roll.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Regoso?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Caselli?
Yes.
Chamblee?
Yes.
Brand?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on, we have our general administration superintendent.
Yep, general admin, just all normal, regular monthly stuff, enrollment, attendance, our drills. You will notice under I3, we did have our school bus emergency evacuation drills for the spring. They are all listed there. I4 is our hip and discipline table. Happy to report we have any hip investigations as well. So that's good. And that's it.
Any questions? I make a motion to approve general admin items I1 through I6 as recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second? Any other comments? Church roll.
Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Caselli?
Yes.
Chamblee?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Regoso?
Yes.
Brand?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Claims. Operations Director.
Yes, J1, we have claims and payroll as well. Any questions on the payroll or bill lists?
I have one, but I can't remember which bill list it was. I saw it, but I checked. There's one bill list that has a listing of teacher supplies. It's not on the payroll. We have already able to do the claim. Yeah, the H1 actually.
Be on 2 or 3.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, like school specialty. Mr. Walton, is this, like, how often is this, are these bills submitted to the district? Like, is this like quarterly? For instance, it'll say school specialty as per your bid for 321.56. I know, Troy, I'm sorry.
No,
It's on-
which one you want to select?
I know.
Bill is 3.
I'm just curious how
Well,
often.
schools
it's-
do ordering in the spring for the
So
following
it's a
school year.
one-time bill that comes into, when I say bill, you know,
You're saying school
Bill
special.
list 2.
all right, it is too.
Bill is 2.
Page 1.
I'm just curious, school specialty. I mean, I remember this from before, but I can't remember how often.
This is
No, it isn't. I don't think.
Yes.
So yeah, this is the data where the staff do it for spring, so this will be for next year or somewhere. But it's done, I mean, it's done on an as-needed basis, but annually we do this time of year, so that's why you see so many per
I guess my question, really, I wasn't going to ask this. Are you telling me a teacher spends the district only spends $174 on supplies for kids?
Well, as far as the leisure supply teachers are allowed $175, actually it's $200 this year. But
For the next year. I'm just thinking in alignment with what Ms. Shaw said, because I didn't even look at that policy until now.
right, then the principals are ordering supply funds.
Oh, okay. So the principals might order, like,
Yes.
in these couple of days, okay.
Yes, and teachers need supplies, it gives you the preference.
Gotcha, okay.
Like, on this one bill, there's about 30 PAs, like,
I know.
100 specialties, like,
Yeah, because they're all, that's all teachers.
Right.
Per teacher.
right.
But I don't care about, I didn't mean it like that. I meant, how often does this occur? Like twice a year, just once a year for next year? Okay, I got my answer. Didn't mean that.
Sorry, was that?
No, I was
Public
sorry.
questions?
Sorry.
Item 2, 3, and 4 are for the month of March 2023. The transfers, board secretaries, or secretary report, and treasurer report, and then the Board of Education's over expenditure certification. Item 5, for 6 is done. Item 7, we do have 1 in-district. It's DOE responsible student, and the tuition received will obviously be prorated for the effective date. Item 8, 3 students listed for those services. Item number 9, 10, 11, and 12 are none. Donations, circling back to the presentation Mr. Kovic gave and Mr. Davila was here to award, accept $300 from Mr. Davila towards the Marietta Champier Special Education Program. Item 14 details a Ritter Memorial and Reflection Butterfly Garden mural to be painted on the wall. Again, no cost to the district. Any questions on that?
Those are some district employees that are doing it.
Correct, yes. Item number 15, resolution 6-2023. Basically, it's a resolution in support of the restrictions to be lifted for individuals looking to drive a school bus, given the bus driver shortage that's occurring nationwide. This will open up the pool of availability to drivers, and will get what's supplied by NJ ASPO. Item 16 is a requisition for school taxes for the 23-24 school year. Item 17 is the affiliate program from Stockton University. And again, just for clinical, occupational, speech, language therapy internships within the district, and does not cost the district anything, and does not then need to be it's not subject to the 3-year renewal process. So once we approve it, should we decide to non-renew it, we would then put that on the agenda again. But for housekeeping, we'll probably see this contract on every June from now, just to make sure that we still have our ducks in a row. Item number 18 is our student information system services, which is for real time. Costs are broken down there. Item number 19 is the purchasing manual for 23-24, and coinciding with that is item number 20, the standard operating procedure manual for 23-24. And then the last item is the in-school one-to-one nursing services contract. The student is already receiving nursing services, however, there will be a change in provider due to service provider issues. And that is all for operations.
On the nursing services, in reading the contract, it talks about coverage for if the school nurse is not available at sick, they will also provide that service as well. So it's not just one-on-one with the student, but it could be for the actual school itself.
We wouldn't use them for that based on this, but the resolution stating that it's for student number 21521. The student does, in fact, is out of district placed.
So specific purpose.
Correct.
So this individual nurse will be in the district
Correct.
to provide that service.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question on Phyllis too. It says there's like, people's names.
turn your mic on.
I have a question for Phyllis too. Okay, so there's like a few people's names, and then next to it says 22 to 23, they might help.
Paid in lieu, transportation. There's 2 payments made. One payment is in February, and then the second payment, once we move to the second round of verification of enrollment and attendance, the second payment is made. So the total payment for one child is $1,022. So then you'll see 2 payments, or typically $511 times 2.
So that's the kid's name.
That's the parent or guardian. Correct.
Any other questions from operation? If not, make a motion to approve operations committee items J1 through J21, recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Trish, would you call the roll?
Regoso?
Yes, Jane Miller too.
Noted. Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes, Sandy Bill is too.
The whole bill? No. Bellis? Caselli?
Yes.
Kangalini?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Brand?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, full business, we have our standing items. Anyone have any comments on that? New business?
We have old business, Jason.
Oh, you do?
At our policy committee meeting, we realized that we forgot to assign a board mentor to our new board member, which is you can delegate who that is or take a volunteer.
Do I have any volunteers? Since you brought up Alicia, I guess I'll sign it.
Good job. I mean, I can do it. I didn't want to.
Sure, no, I mean, yeah. Obviously, always available at any time. Yeah.
You can tell them how to co-chair it.
Okay. Good luck with that, Mr. Mike.
Yeah, we need real help.
Yeah.
I just have a couple things that go along with our yearly calendar. Next month, we are supposed to report on the progress of our board goals for this year. In addition, we are supposed to be thinking about our annual retreat and board goals and our self-evaluation. So those are things that we need to discuss and talk about next month. So if you want to start thinking about it or looking back to what our goals were, how we completed them and so forth, and then thinking about what we may do or when we may do a retreat.
The board goals are the Franklin Township League, right?
Yeah. They should actually be in your little library here. Like, we should be breaking that agenda.
I guess we have to contact Terry about the retreat. That's not, I guess everybody should think about that. Perhaps we could do it, they mentioned time all together. 15 million opportunity. Was there anything else for old business? Does anybody have any new business?
Yeah, I actually have one for new business. The Franklin Township Police had reached out and they asked if the board would be willing to donate a bus and a bus driver for their youth police camp week field trip, which is on June 23rd. They're going up to the Fun Class in Cherry Hill. So the approximate will be about 7 hours hourly rate for a bus driver, plus obviously the cost of the bus to get there for them.
They just
So,
one bus?
just one bus. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You need that?
We would give them that.
You need that in the resolution or?
I just think the borough was fine, as everybody's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to you later.
What is that over the summer?
Yeah, it's the Friday after, well, the following Friday.
Anyone else for this business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to, our second public comment portion. I'll waive the reading of the board policy, just a reminder to the public. Our policy does state that each individual will limit their comments to 3 minutes. We've never had an opportunity to have to enforce that. However, just a reminder that is in our policy. So we can keep your comments within that time frame, which just about all does. I appreciate it. Make a motion to the public website.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Those abstentions. We're open to the public. Make the public like seven. If you can, just state your name.
Yes, my name is Beth Aylmer. I'm a teacher at Ritter School, and I've been there for 8 years. I would just like to pose a question to the board tonight. I want to set negotiations aside. Based on what we're seeing at the board meetings and hearing at the work sessions, what reassurances can you provide non-tenured, tenured, and veteran teachers that the board is committed to keeping teachers here? Actions speak louder than words. Why should we stay when many of us feel that there's little motivation on the part of the board to keep teachers in Franklin Township?
First of all, congratulations on your teacher of the year.
Oh, thank you.
And sorry, you missed the lunch.
That's okay. Tooth surgery.
Yeah. I mean, briefly to answer your question, I mean, I believe we were here at last month's meeting. We had our strategic plan committee update on talent acquisition and retention. I mean, not to reiterate everything was in that presentation, but the board's committed to, through negotiations, I know you didn't want to bring negotiations up, but to try and raise our starting salary to increase some of the increments on the lower tiers of the salary guide. Those are just a couple of things that we're doing for talent acquisition. I don't know if Mr. Wall wants to comment on any of those items.
Well, not specific to
negotiations, right,
but making sure there's a forefront. I mean, it came out in the strategic plan that wasn't an issue. I mean, we've recognized the really the salary issue even over the last negotiations. We made the TFA negotiation team last time notified that we will be looking at that salary. So again, it came to the forefront at the strategic plan committee, and we have an action committee in place to address those things. And not only looking at the teachers, but we're looking at our support staff and all of our staff. And I'm providing the board with that data, so it's well aware, so the board can make informed decisions.
I mean, is there another more specific question?
No, I mean, I think this is just the time of the year where teachers start to look, and I think a lot of us are conflicted about the fact that our hearts are here, but we know that the board is super committed to the taxpayers here, to making sure that taxes stay low, but we haven't necessarily seen that same commitment in these last couple meetings from the board with keeping teachers here. And it's important to us that, that Franklin Township has one of the highest rates of teacher turnover right now, and I don't like to see my colleagues leave because I know that I teach with some of the best teachers that I've ever worked with in my career, and I want to see those teachers stay. I want to stay, but I think that we don't always feel that there's commitment to recognizing that teacher turnover is a problem and to trying to fix it from the board. And I know that you guys do a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see, but I wanted to just hear from the board about whether that's a priority for you guys, and to kind of give you guys to ask for the opportunity to hear from you guys about your commitment to teaching us, to keeping us here.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I mean, that was our driving goal, moving, again, we're trying not to get into negotiations, but that was the primary goal when we entered, this negotiation session. We recognized that there had been a problem with that, for some time now, and that was pretty much our only goal moving through that process. You're not on the committee. But
no, I'm not.
Yeah, that was really our primary goal. We didn't really come with anything that we were asking of the association besides adjustments to the guide, and with the main focus being talent acquisition and retention, because it's clearly, I mean, we're all aware, we can see it in the numbers, we see it in the presentations, you guys see it, firsthand. We're kind of tied, our hands are tied somewhat, because, all we can offer is money, and for the most part, and we only have so much of that, you know what I mean? Certainly, we can, levy additional taxes, but there's some sort of balance there, and that's why we believe that the offer that we put forth was a solid and fair offer. And at this point, disagreement seems to be you know, where that money's going to go and who's going to get that money. Seems to be the deadline, you know, and our process. So, and hopefully that answers some of your questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Erica Fasanella. I'm the reading specialist at Mary F. Janvier. I've been here for 5 years. This is my 16th year teaching. One of my favorite quotes is, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results." As educators, we are constantly changing our practice to meet our needs of our students. When COVID hit, we opened up our homes virtually to our students. We researched new ways to teach our students. We then taught them hybrid, in person, online, and sometimes at the same time. Sometimes we are not only learning new curriculum or materials each year, but sometimes even in the middle of the year. In the past 3 years, the job market has changed. Previously, there could have been hundreds of applicants for one position. Now there is a shortage of applicants, and applicants are not accepting those positions. Teachers are looking for more competitive pay. It's not just the pay, it's also a favorable salary guide with reasonable steps to the top and comparable benefits like family leave days. Currently, there are a special ed teacher that is at Ritter, and the position was posted on 3/7, and that in previous years, this position would have been filled. The position is not filled. And in Ritter, there was a 5th grade teacher that quit, and it took 3 months to hire after multiple candidates declined for better offers. There was also a 5th grade teacher that quit in January. They hired a long-term sub. That sub does not have a degree and is still in college. And there's also a 5th grade and 6th grade interventionist. The last day was in April. The position remains unfilled. And students were placed in other classrooms above their needs, since the classrooms at Ritter are based upon an RTI model. Also in Janvier, we had a kindergarten teacher that left because she went on maternity leave. We did not have any applicants. There was 2 weeks where the students were getting in and out subs. The students are now behind academically of their peers with the units. At Main Road, there was 2 positions where teachers left throughout the year, and there's 1 position that still remains unfilled. So my question to the board is, what is the board doing to change and meet the needs of us as educators? Not just our salary, but other things as well. What is the board doing to change and meet the needs of our students in their community? Because right now, the kids are suffering, not just us. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Swope, TFEA member and 4th grade ELA teacher, Main Road School. You can just let me know when the time is up. I was not aware of the new time restriction policy. Oh, I was not aware, so you can let me know when my time is up. Next month will mark 1 year that this Board of Education has refused to settle a fair contract with the TFEA negotiations team. So let's talk about some facts and figures. 60%, that's the percent of staff members, certified staff members we have lost in the last 4 years. 77% is the percent of staff members who are looking for another job and do not plan on returning in the fall. 94% is the percent of staff members who understand the Board of Education's proposal and do not accept it. 94% again is the percent of staff who want to continue to fight for a fair contract. And 100% is the percent of schools surveyed in Gloucester County who have prep 5 times a week without required meetings. Because it's not just about salary, it's also about teachers not feeling burnt out and overstressed and having time to do their jobs. Mr. Kobik's presentation at April's board meeting, which is also posted on the district website, it's clear that we are grossly underpaid compared to the other districts in Gloucester County. At step 1, we are $3,600 below county average. At step 5, we are $5,500 below county average. Step 10, we are $10,000 below county average. And step 15, we are almost $16,000 below county average. At the top of the salary guide, we are $3,500 below county average. The disparity in income grows as the teachers stay in Franklin Township, which is obvious to note and would also be obvious to new staff who are considering should they stay or should they leave Franklin Township. In addition, it takes 20 years to get to the top of the salary guide in Franklin Township, and in most districts it takes 12 to 16 years to get to the top. So each additional year that a teacher stays in Franklin Township trying to make it to the top, they're losing $10,000 to $15,000 where they could already be at the top of another district. And I will abbreviate my statements based on the time restraint. I will not vote to ratify a contract that does not close the disparity and inequality in pay at the bottom, middle, and top of the salary guide compared to all of the other salary guides in Gloucester County. And in closing, I want to thank our awesome negotiations team for their hard work and dedication and being our voice for a fair contract. They have my support and the support of our 140 members. We stand strong and united. We are TFEA strong.
This is probably the second, third, or fourth time you've come up and made a comment that you offered that the board's put on the table is unfair. What do you believe is a fair offer? Can you tell me what that is?
Well, a fair offer would close the disparity, like I just said, between our salary guide and the other salary guides in Gloucester County. They would be much more comparable at the bottom, middle, and top. We see the discrepancy when Mr. Kobick presented it at the April board meeting. So we wouldn't have this wide window of $3,600 difference at step 1. At step 5, we have a $5,500 difference. Step 10, $10,000 difference. We would close that divide. Also, prep time. We would have 5 prep times.
Your initial comment.
Okay.
What would be fair? How much would that cost per board to do that?
Oh, I don't have all those details in front of me. That would have to be something worked out in much greater detail than something I could report off the top of my head.
And you believe the salary guide and the association that you presented is more equitable in achieving those goals than the salary guide that the board?
Absolutely. I wouldn't vote to.
And you believe that?
Absolutely. They're very transparent, and they presented their offer, and your offer was rejected. I would not vote to ratify a contract that adds steps to get to the top, to the salary guide. No, actually.
16-step guide.
No. It still adds years. The steps can be very deceptive because it takes 20 years now to get to the top of our salary guide. When we add it, steps 3 and 4, you're frozen. So new staff members, I don't know why they would stay, because at step 3, then they're frozen again at step 4. Now we have 17A. It takes longer to get to the top of the salary guide. So whether you add steps or years, it's taking 20 years already to get to the top. And in many districts, it's 12 to 16 years. Where I live, it takes 12 years to get to the top of the salary guide, 12 years total.
So a new staff member getting hired, if they were hired under our guide proposal, you're telling me it takes 20 years for that staff member to reach the top of the guide? It's a 16-step guide. I can count 1 through 16.
I would have to have the guide in front of me. I'm not going to answer off the top of my head.
Well, you're stating things.
Yeah, I am stating, that 94% of the staff members have rejected your proposal. It is unacceptable. That is correct. It does not close a disparity enough. We are still grossly underpaid compared to all the other school districts in Gloucester County. We are the lowest paid. I think that fact stands for itself. And your offer did nothing to close that disparity. It did not make enough progress. It was unacceptable.
Well, you can't just keep coming up and saying something isn't fair without offering an alternative. That's where the issue lies.
Well, I don't think you would like my alternative. I would have us meet the salary guides, and there would not be a disparity. We would be $3,600 higher at the top. Step 5 would be $5,000 higher. Step 10 would be $10,000 higher.
How much would that cost? Can the board do that?
Well, I don't have a calculator in front of me. Listen, we may not be the most affluent district in the county, but we're also not the least affluent. And other districts are finding ways to do it. Districts all around it, we're the only district not finding a way to do that. Maybe you should talk to the board members in other districts and find out how they're doing it. It just seems to me that saving money is the priority here over teacher retention and student achievement. And the goal of this Board of Education is teacher retention. So you're sabotaging your very own goal by trying to keep salary down by not offering a fair contract.
But again, you can't articulate what a fair contract is right now.
Yes, I can articulate. We would close the disparity of the salary guides between Franklin Township's salary guide and all the other salary guides in Franklin Township. No, I don't have like a number off the top of my head because I haven't sat down and used the calculator. That's not my job to sit down and use a calculator.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? No? Mr. Morris, you get another comment? You get okay. No one else? I make a motion to close the second public comment portion. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? That is suspension. No need for a second executive session. Our upcoming meetings, we have our June 14th work session. Just a reminder, we set June 7th for a deadline for completing the CSA evaluation. And work on compiling that as well as the RFPs at our work session. And we have a regular meeting scheduled for June 19th. Anything else from the board members? If not, make a motion to adjourn. Sorry.
Can I just say one thing? If there's an off no, it's all. Bringing the green light. Okay. If you get a chance to go on the school board association website, and just kind of type in teacher shortage, you'll see what the assembly's been doing lately to try to alleviate some of the stress on the teacher shortage in the state. Because unfortunately what's happening is there is a lot of jumping from school district to school district because there's such a shortage, they can only write to a ticket when they go to other districts. So if you see some of the things that the education committee has done in the assembly, and they're waiting for the governor to look at it, there are some incentives, there's quite a few, it's pretty interesting if you get a chance to read it, on how they're trying to help the teachers that are coming up, and because there definitely is a shortage in the universities, there's a shortage in people just leaving the profession. So if you get a chance, and it's an interesting read, nothing else to do, just read it. Just a thought.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?